Hi, this is Margo. This is Monday afternoon, April the 18th, 2022. I hope everyone is safe and doing as well as possible. And I want to apologize for not being able to do my show last night. I'm still struggling with the aftermath of the flood in my apartment and not doing too well, but hopefully I'll be on the upswing soon. But anyway, I'm gonna do this methane update. Just gonna go over methane, and this will be my weekly update that I'll be putting on YouTube. So I hope everyone is doing well, doing better than I am. Anyway, I've got 3 days worth of NOAA data to show, and then we'll look at Saturday the 16th, because that's where the last day on the weekly update is. And so we'll look at Saturday on cams, and then we'll see how the week ended up. So we're on, this is the NOAA data for the 477/469 millibar reading for the MET-OP-B or MET-OP-1 satellite for the 14th in the morning. And you can see that over half the data is missing. See all this white? So I didn't take this reading. I mean, I didn't count it in my daily log. I just wanted to, I did document it though. So the mean was 1908 parts per billion, and the high reading was 2344, and that 1908 is about 10 or more parts per billion lower than it has been. So that's because look at all this missing data, all of Africa, part of South America, everything from Spain to mid-Russia, all of India is gone, a lot of the Arctic, and a lot of North America, and then almost all the Pacific is gone. And then in the afternoon, they had more complete data. The mean was 1918, and the high reading was 2362. And that 1918 is more in line with what it has been doing. And then for the 15th in the morning, the mean was 1919. The high reading was 2385. In the afternoon, the mean was 1919, and the high reading was 2420. And then for the 16th in the morning, the mean was 1920, so that jumped up, and the high reading was 2474. And in the afternoon, the mean was 1919, and the high reading was 2373. So here's the spreadsheet with the chart. So on the 16th, the average is out to be 1919.5 parts per billion, which is a slight decrease over the week before of half a part per billion. And so we have 3 weeks in a row like that, where it's just creeping up. So we're right under this line for 1920 parts per billion. It's just hovering around there, and we're 12.50 parts per billion higher than this time a year ago, and 50 parts per billion higher than where I started measuring this on March the 1st of 2019. So that much. Look at that, 50. And we'll look at the daily data now. So on Saturday the 9th, we were at 1919. No change on the 10th. And then on the 11th, it went down 1 part per billion. On the 19th, it went up 1 part per billion. That was on the 12th. It went up 1 part per billion. On the 13th, no change. And then here was the questionable data on the 14th. See, I recorded it as 1908 and plus 1918. So that would average out to be 1913. But I'm not counting it in my list over here because I know that reading is inaccurate with all that missing data. Then for the 15th, we're still at 1919, so no change from the 13th. And then the 16th, we're at 1919.5, and so that gives us an overall gain this week of half a part per billion. So that's where we are with methane. And once things start really heating up in the northern hemisphere, we'll see methane really bubbling away and spiking up. And a lot of people are starting to talk about it now, especially with the thawing permafrost in the Arctic region. And it's a reality for them that as that permafrost thaws, the infrastructure is falling apart because they thought it would be permanently frozen, but it's not. And then, as that thaws out, then the methane bubbles up and you have carbon dioxide and more heat. And so that's definitely a self-reinforcing feedback loop. And we're going to see that all across this Arctic region in short order. And you'll see lots of articles about it coming out. Okay, now we're here on cams. Now I did silent movies for Thursday and Friday. And so here we are for Saturday the 16th. I'm on the Arctic view and surface level. Here's our color ledger. So the data is for Saturday and the forecast period is Sunday through Wednesday. Well, we can see it's coming up. It's not in the reds like it was in January and February. And so if it went down up here, that means it went up somewhere else to even out those methane readings that are rising. We can see it streaming up out of the North Sea here. UK is covered up. This Scandinavian area is really coming to life. And a few parts of Russia, see, they're popping up with these higher readings. Kamchatka, that's this peninsula of Russia, and that's a hot spot. There are volcanoes. The whole peninsula has volcanoes up and down there. Still coming up here at Koktovik, Alaska, and earlier in the week we saw it popping off on Iceland, and here's our problem spot in the North Atlantic. That's another hot spot. And here in North Dakota, where the lignite coal mine is, there's just a huge amount coming up. Now we'll go to the North Pole view. Here we can see most of the northern hemisphere, and so here's the UK and Germany. See how that's just a blob there. Here's the Persian Gulf, and that's spilling over over Saudi Arabia. Here's India. Here's China. Now we're seeing lower readings here in the Bengal Bay and in the Arabian Sea here. But it is filling up in China, as you can see, and these waves of green moving out. And here in North America, see these waves moving out, and just depending on the day, you'll have areas with the big blobs of the very high methane if they had precipitation there a day or two before. And if it's hotter, you'll see higher methane readings. And now we'll pop down to the Antarctic. So our orientation here is the Western Peninsula, and you can see methane just billowing. I mean, it's not a super high reading. It's in that this aqua, this 1840, so that we can discern it from the background color, which is 1820 in most of the southern hemisphere. But this is worse. See, it's all around the Larsen ice shelves, and see it's streaming down from South America too. But look at it coming up all around this coastline here on the west, and look at this around the Brunt ice shelf, and look at it just spreading out over the interior. I've never seen it like this before. Now, last week or whenever, we saw some coming up over the interior on this eastern side, but it wasn't this big huge cloud. Now watch this. See it streaming over. That's all from the Brunt ice shelf, and then it spreads out. Here's the Amory ice shelf where it's coming up, and also on the eastern side, also down here on the southern side next to the Ross Sea. And we're seeing this aqua color streaming further south. That's a sign of methane on the increase too, as you start seeing higher readings in the southern hemisphere. And as the planet is shifting, is that, you know, the axis is tilting. The North Pole is tilting more towards the sun. As we go into summer, then the methane is redistributing around the planet somewhat too. Okay, here's the global view, and look how far Look at this aqua just streaming down in the Atlantic. Also here in the Indian Ocean. Australia is almost completely covered in that 1840 reading. Well, depending on the day. See, on Saturday. And you can see these aqua colors creeping more to the south. We'll see greens creeping further south too. Now we'll go to 500 HPA. Here this is. See the dark. And we've got some lighter readings interspersed in this Arctic region next to the dark. And we've got reds coming further south, reds and oranges as it redistributes. And now we'll look at total column. And we can see it heaviest from China going down into southern Asia. Also here in the Philippines. And then a lot of reds. Look at all these reds. So that's my report for today. And we'll finish up by reading out of the book of Ecclesiastes. I like to bring things back to a spiritual perspective. This book of the Bible was written by King Solomon, and there are 12 chapters, so we're making our way through. Ecclesiastes chapter 9. For all this I considered in my heart, even to declare all this, that the righteous and the wise and their works are in the hand of God. No man knoweth either love or hatred by all that is before them. All things come alike to all. There is one event to the righteous and to the wicked, to the good and to the clean, and to the unclean, to him that sacrificeth, and to him that sacrificeth not. As is the good, so is the sinner, and he that sweareth, as he that feareth an oath. This is an evil among all things that are done under the sun, that there is one event unto all. Yea, also, the heart of the sons of men is full of evil, and madness is in their heart while they live, and after that they go to the dead. For to him that is joined to all the living there is hope. For a living dog is better than a dead lion. For the living know that they shall die, but the dead know not anything, neither have they any more reward, for the memory of them is forgotten. Also their love and their hatred and their envy is now perished, neither have they any more portion forever in anything that is done under the sun. Go thy way, eat thy bread with joy, and drink thy wine with a merry heart, for God now accepteth thy works. Let thy garments be always white, and let thy head lack no ointment. Live joyfully with the wife whom thou lovest all the days of the life of thy vanity, which he hath given thee under the sun. all the days of thy vanity, for that is thy portion in this life, and in thy labor which thou takest under the sun. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might, for there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave whither thou goest. I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, neither yet bread to the wise, nor yet riches to men of understanding, nor yet favor to men of skill, but time and chance happeneth to them all. For man also knoweth not his time, as the fishes that are taken in an evil net, and as the birds that are caught in the snare, so are the sons of men snared in an evil time, when it falleth suddenly upon them. This wisdom have I seen also under the sun, and it seemed great unto me. There was a little city, and few men within it, and there came a great king against it, and besieged it, and built great bulwarks against it. Now there was found in it a poor wise man, and he by his wisdom delivered the city. Yet no man remembered that same poor man. Then said I, Wisdom is better than strength. Nevertheless, the poor man's wisdom is despised, and his words are not heard. The words of wise men are heard in quiet, more than the cry of him that ruleth among fools. Wisdom is better than weapons of war, but one sinner destroyeth much good. Ecclesiastes chapter 9. Wisdom is better than the weapons of war. So I think this is an appropriate reading for us right now, and for us to reflect on these things and really consider how we live our lives, how we're living. Are we living in integrity, or have we fallen away from that? Time is short. Time is short. And if you haven't given your life to Jesus Christ, I highly recommend it. He said, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and the only way to my Father's kingdom is through me. So I'm praying for everyone. I love you all. And until next time, God bless you. Go in peace, and I will talk to you soon. Goodbye.